and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me is my co-host, Joel Meyer. Got an off-season Friday night episode here, Joel. You pumped up?
Yeah, as pumped up as you can be with not much going on in the evenings here. Of course, the Olympics have been occupying my mornings and early afternoons, but after that, it's not much. I mean, I'm getting into CFL lately. I had a hell of a crazy game between the who was playing the Rough Riders and the Red Blacks. That was really fun. Yeah, it's the off season. We're just counting the days until college football begins and all that. Yeah, it's also a good time just to get on some work. We're gonna go into the cup stuff I've been doing, and I'll leave I'll talk more about the Olympics, but we're not going to go into it right away because I'll be drawing on for 10 minutes and driving everyone who doesn't care about it, I mean, except for the bad men's basketball, of course. Everyone cares about the Olympics when LeBron is nearly losing or whatever. But there's far more better stuff than that going on if you care to look. So, yeah, it's all Olympics for me. I've been watching some other stuff too. Maybe I'll just say like getting into like these animal videos, like watching these predators like polar bears and wolves and most of all lions. Like apparently there's this epic documentary called Eternal Enemies from the early 90s in National Geographic. It's really hard to find. I've been trying to find it. It's narrated by Powers Booth, who is a legend too. Very good voice. But the basic plot is I'm going to nerd out here, geek out by the way, the stuff. But the basic idea is that the hyenas and lions, they hate each other. You know, it's the plot of the Lion King, basically.
Watching Lion King, Joel?
I think that this documentary inspired it.
Lion King?
I think this documentary inspired it because it only Lion King showed up a few years after, and it's very similar. Anyway, the main character, the protagonist, is He Who Greets with Fire, which is a fucking awesome name. I don't know what the African language and the African name for him, but it translates to He Who Greets with Fire. He's the hyena killer. He kills dozens of these hyenas over the course of the documentary. Anyway, he takes over this hyena territory with his brother, who's more like a playboy. Like he's with the girls, and he's like the warrior of this He Who Greets with Fire guy. And they drive these hyenas off the land, but this hyena clan is led by this matriarch who's like supremely smart and a strategist. So at first she's driven off, but for months she studies how the lions are interacting with other hyena clans, and then she devises a plan. She splits the pack into groups of 10, 7, whatever, and attacks in waves after killing one of the lion cubs, by the way, as like a sign that we're still around. And then, but they totally fail. The hyena killer just kills them all. Takes a while for him to kill the matriarch hyena, but he gets it done in the end. Anyway, they were killed by hunters at the end when they're dying of old age. So all is well that ends well. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm watching these days. It's fascinating as hell. It's great to watch when you're like can't sleep at 1 or 2 in the morning. Just fire one of these up on YouTube and just geek out. I love it.
Yeah, Nat Geo stuff, Planet Earth stuff, so like that's always cool. I'm glad we decided to not drive away the listeners with the Olympic talk because I'm sure they were all enthralled by the Safari documentary. Trevor in the chat on YouTube says he's loving this, so he's enjoying off-season content. Yeah, I've been watching some true crime documentaries, Netflix, HBO. Like I've been trying to look for a good one though, because like some of these series, it's an hour episode and it could be like 20 minutes. It's like, come on, let's get to the chase here. But not sure if you have any recommendations there. Any listeners have any recommendations? I've gone through most of the Netflix discography there or whatever.
I don't know. It's a filmography for movies, but for shows, I don't know what that would be. Seriography, I don't know, but yeah, I love crime shows. That's my thing. So for sure, I mean, I've been watching a lot of Netflix myself. I go through each streaming thing, so I don't have to subscribe to them for a whole year. So I'll go through Netflix for a few months, and then HBO for a few months, and so forth. But yeah, Korean and European shows on Netflix are what I like. Yeah, crime shows, awesome. Like The Wire is one of my favorite shows ever, of course, and stuff like that is great.
Yeah, speaking of streaming, did you see that the Amazon TV games up in Canada, the Monday games are going to be John Forsland calling those. So you guys got a good one up there. Yeah,
I did not know that. We don't have Amazon, so I don't know how that's.
Well, wait, you don't have like Amazon Prime?
Oh, we do, but the games are on our version of ESPN. Maybe they changed this year.
No, I think they have like a weekly streaming deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sounded shit, but I mean, if Forsland was reported, I'm not sure if it's been announced yet, but
Well, Thursdays are Troy Aikman and what's his name, Joe Buck these days, and that's one of my favorite crews. So I don't know. We're John Forrest on soccer too, so
they wouldn't do hockey though.
What do you mean?
I'm saying NHL games.
Oh, I thought you said Thursday night football games.
No, Monday night. I think Amazon has like a Monday night Canadian.
Oh, that's okay. It's Amazon. I mean, I'm an idiot. No, that makes a lot more sense. John Forrest.
Oh yeah, because they have Thursday night football. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So Monday night hockey, you're saying?
I think it's Monday night up in Canada.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
Also
yeah, he's one of the best.
Another streaming thing. Did you see the video of the Oilers in the locker room?
No.
It was apparently some Oilers Plus documentary. Credit to the team for releasing it. Like, they're just sitting there in silence. You can hear Gary Bettman announcing the Stanley Cup. You can hear Gary Bettman in the background. Zach Hyman speaks up. I haven't seen the full thing, but there's like a 2-minute video circling around on social media. So the raw emotion is there.
Yeah, that would be hard to watch if you're an Oilers fan.
But yeah, that's what you want to see from these documentaries. You want to see the raw stuff, because they could have done a cop out and like, you know what, it was a tough season, we're moving on to next year, but they showed that emotion there in the locker room. All right now, make sure you are subscribed to the Sports Command Podcast main show. They launched their 32 NFL team previews, and as a bonus, each team preview will include a code word. Submit the 32 code word phrase, and you can be the lucky winner who gets a $500 NFL Circa future bet. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and the SGPN app. I think that's all we got for news over the past few weeks. Nothing else really has happened, right?
There was one contract. I forgot to look it up before we started the show. There was one guy. It's been 2.5 weeks here, so somebody did sign a long-term deal. It was around. Well,
Konechny signed. Brock Faber. Brock Faber signed. We haven't talked about that.
That was probably him. Yeah, that's an awesome deal. I think they're getting a steal. It's going to be aging like Makar's, I'm pretty sure, especially if the cap keeps going up significantly like it has this year.
Yeah, and did we talk about the Byfield also got locked up by LA? I think that's going to be a good deal for them.
Yeah, that was pretty cheap. I thought. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I remember thinking that was a great deal, a rare W for Rob Blake. Was my initial thought.
Yeah, because he's been on. I think we've talked about it. Like, he should be on the hot seat given how the contract situation is there.
Yeah, if the Kings miss the playoffs, I think he's out.
Yeah. Also, since we last recorded, Jeff Merrick has left Sportsnet due to apparently some draft related reasons. Nothing really has come out from that. I'm not sure if he leaked something. Apparently, he's very anti gambling himself, so maybe it was just like a leak. Do you have any thoughts or tell on that?
I read the Athletic article about it. Apparently, he's got a friend in Vegas, and he wasn't using it to bet, I don't think, because you can't really live bet the NHL draft, especially not in Vegas, where they actually close it down hours before it starts.
Yeah, I think it's 24 hours before. So there's nothing you can get. Yeah,
but he was using it for like Twitter clout. Like, I'm nailing all these picks, and that could be like seen as financially profitable, but it's a loose line. I mean, the NHL is just they're very anal about this kind of thing. They want to prevent any leaks. And yeah, I mean, I've got mixed feelings on this. I do not like Jeff Merrick for a lot of reasons. I think he's very snobbish and know-it-all-ish and smarmy, but he's also good for awards intel. Even though like last year in particular, every time a team won like 3 games in a row, coach for Jack Adams. Every freaking coach had his nomination at one point or another.
It was like the Furkan Smythe joke in the Discord last playoffs. Whenever someone had a goal, yeah,
exactly. Unironically, yeah, he was very good at his job though. So I'll miss listening to his show. Wonder who they get to replace him. Yeah, and on 32 Thoughts as well. The podcast there got to be someone new there too.
Yeah, I never listened really to his show, but I got to be a regular listener of 32 Thoughts. So it'll be interesting to see if Friedman hosts that by himself, if they bring someone else in to kind of bounce off of him. But I think they worked well together. I had nothing against Merrick, but I didn't listen to him enough. And apparently he's loved. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, like I said, he's very good at his job. And yeah, he came up in wrestling too. So he had full of those references, which went way over my head.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for news. Not sure if there's anything else out there, nothing pressing. It's August 9th. It's the middle of August. There's nothing really going on. From along, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. We just launched Underdog Streaks. Hit your first 2 pick'em entries and then go streaking. If you can get an 11-0 run, you can win 1,000 times your entry. Plus, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. And they just added another college football contest for Best Ball. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. And make sure you check out Game Time. It's always frustrating to kind of buy some last-minute tickets to events. Game Time has you covered. They're now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which make getting tickets even faster and easier. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. App has great features. Flash deals, zone deals. You can get a view from all the seats in the venue, and the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Joel, you mentioned to me you have some sort of Stanley Cup history, look back, research you did this week. So take it away for us.
Sure, yeah. Just a bunch of categories. Trying to find patterns of what makes a Stanley Cup winner. So things that we can look at during the season that might help us predict the winner at the end of the season. And, a lot of this is not entirely predictive. You got to read through the noise, find the signal. But there's a few things that I noticed that are pretty telling. Before we get into that, though, just a quick note. We also did some Jack Adams stuff with Archer. He's a prominent guy in the Discord. He helped me do some data entry on the Jack Adams winners. We'll do something more on that in a later show. But one thing I have to bring up is how I remember me asking last year about have there been any new interim coaches or coaches that came in middle of the season who won the Jack Adams. Apparently there's been like 4 of them, and not in the too distant past either. So apparently we dodged a bullet there. I think that if they completed that 17-18 game win streak, the Oilers, that Chris Knobloch probably would have won the Jack Adams. So the Vegas Golden Knights,
or if they got the division too, they kind of fell off towards the end there, right? Because they came in second.
Yeah. The division would have been close, but if they had the win record as well, I think the Knobloch would have done it. But yeah, shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights. They cost us a bunch of money last year, but they made up for it by ensuring Rick Tocchet won the Jack Adams this year. So watch out for these interim coaches, which we'll get into in a little. Actually, we might as well start there. One thing I noticed that with these the length of the tenure of these coaches before they win the Stanley Cup. Recently, there's been a few exceptions with John Cooper winning finally, and then Jared Bednar after him. But more or less, it's always coaches like in their first year, second year, third year, most. There's been a couple 4 years, like the Capitals with Barry Trotz, the Bruins with Claude Julien. But generally, it's in the first to third years of a coach's tenure that teams usually win the Stanley Cup. It makes sense too. Like the teams get a new voice. This translates to other sports as well, like NFL, and just look at like Sean McDermott again and again with the same team, never winning. Kyle Shanahan too, and on and on it goes. But yeah, so one point of advice we can give there is to look out for teams that fire their coach in season, because there's been 4 teams that have won who fired the coach in the season. There was the St. Louis Blues, famously. There were the Mike Sullivan Pittsburgh Penguins in 2016. Mm-hmm. There were the Los Angeles Kings, Dale Sutter coming in, and in 2009, again the Pittsburgh Penguins with Dan Bilesma coming in. So now this is I only looked up to 2006, so that's 4 times in 22 years or so.
Well, yeah, that's since the first lockout. That's like kind of the modern era, I think people call it. Right? Yeah. That was 04, 05. So 05, 06 was.
Yeah, I only most of my data is here just from the salary cap era, because that it's a different sport. But yeah, 4 times that a coach has been fired and his successor wins the Stanley Cup with that team. That's pretty wild to me. So if it's a good team and they lose their coach mid-season, you're going to be able to buy low and get a very good number. Like that's what we did last year too. We got the Oilers 20 and 22 to 1 when what was it, like a few games into Knobloch's tenure, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And they almost won. I think it was almost 5 in 22 years. They were 1 game away from making it 5 new coaches, just like that. So yeah, he'll get a much better number. So we're really looking at teams potentially firing their coach. Good teams, like we're not talking the fucking I don't know, the Ducks or whatever. We're talking about let's say the I don't know, the Hurricanes probably never finding Rob Brittamore. You just got an extension. That's a bad example, but I don't know, the Rangers maybe. Who's their owner? He gets impatient.
Well, Laviolette. I was going to bring up Laviolette. Are there a team to look for now with Laviolette being in his second year? I know we thought maybe that first year they kind of made a little bit of a jump, but now Lafreniere can definitely have a good season after that breakout in the playoffs. Like, does that raise them in your rankings a bit?
What do you mean exactly? The Laviolette,
like the Rangers. Do you think that they're viable this year because he's second year head coach?
Well, it's often the first year head coach, so it's not just because it's second year. It's just once you get past the third year that you want to start dodging those teams. That's what I'm looking at here. But I think the best point is to look at these teams that fire their coach mid-season. I don't know, like right now they all seem pretty stable in their jobs. I think it's hard to find an example here, a good example of a team that would fire their coach, but you never know if it happens. That's something to look forward to. Like we never would expect the Oilers would fire Jay Woodcroft a month into the season, but that's how terrible the start was. So yeah, this should happen. So that's just something I'm going to monitor.
I mean, Penguins could fire Sullivan mid-season.
Yes, that's a good idea. I mean, that'll lead me into my next point, but that's a good example because he looks to be on the hot seat. I don't really say he has a great relationship with Dubas and all that, but yeah, Penguins are good candidate.
Martin St. Louis is the 5th longest tenure head coach right now, according to this quick search.
There's been a lot of fired coaches in the last year.
Yeah, you got Cooper 2013, Sullivan 2015, Bednar 2016, Brindamore 2018, and then St. Louis 2022.
Yeah, see, St. Louis will get the Canadiens to the playoffs, maybe win a round or two, and then eventually be fired, and then his replacement will be a legit contender. That's how it works. Like historically, that's how these teams tend to go. Well, that leads me to the next point, which is I'm going to ask you this. Since, what is it? You could probably just look it up. So let's look this up yourself. But for the audience, since 1984, I think I'm looking at this right.
40 years?
Yeah. Or 1985 is when the Oilers won the cup there. How many teams do you think have been more than 16 to 1 odds to win the cup before the season started?
Ooh, I did. I looked at it. I glanced at it recently. So, I mean, probably not that many. In 40 years, maybe like 8.
Well, last year was 1 with the Florida Panthers. They were 20 to 1.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm doing this myself. 4 teams, including the Florida Panthers.
4 teams.
Longer than 16 to 1. So the lesson here is just forget the long shots.
Let me zoom in here on the 16 to 1. Maple Leafs. So 16 to 1 going down. We got Maple Leafs, Rangers, Hurricanes, Devils, Avalanche, Panthers, Stars, Oilers.
Yeah. So
which seems like a solid 8 right there.
I think that the Bruins will close shorter than 20 to 1. They could get in the 16 to 1 range. I mean, they're 18 to 1 most places, I think, already. But after the Bruins there, I'm not interested in anyone based on this stuff and just based on the teams, really. I mean, after them, I don't see any legit contender. The Canucks are still 20. Okay, Canucks, that's wrong. Yeah, they should be lower than that. Those are some good odds. I thought 22 to 1. I bet that again the other day. I thought that was good, but apparently you can
I was looking now. Preds are 18 to 1. I saw you got them like 35, 40 to 1 before free agency.
35, yeah.
That was almost half the price now.
Yeah, well, getting Stamkos, Marchessault, and was it Shea? Whichever one. I know the Devils got one of those Hurricanes, and then the Preds got the other, the defenseman.
I think Devils got Pesci, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Canucks, that'll go down everywhere. I think 25 to 1 is wrong, but other than them, I don't see anyone else interesting beyond the Bruins there at 20-1. Yeah, point is that it's usually one of these the big teams, the teams that have done it. And if you look, if you go more deeply into it, you'll find a lot of these losing teams that lose in the finals. They're the ones that are like 40, 60, even 100-1, like the fucking the Ducks when they lost to the Devils, I think 2001 or whatever it was. They were 100-1. The Canadiens, they lost to Lightning, of course, in that weird, funky North Division year.
That was
they
a
were
fucking
long
joke.
odds. Golden Knights, of course, they won their run. They lost in the finals. So if you want to bet one of these long shots, and if you have to bet for the cup, at least put something on the conference, because I think that makes a lot more sense. At least you get something out of it. Like, imagine just going all the way with like 100-1 ticket and then losing. I was there too with the fucking Bengals. I had 100-1 on the Bengals to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, but that was pretty close. But once again, just a good ticket that loses.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I see a bunch of people say to make 2 bets on like real long shots. You can cash one out and let one ride. Are you a proponent of that? Like over a certain long shot number?
Yeah.
Like if like you're winning in the thousands and your bankroll is like less than 1,000.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if it's life-changing money, like say you can go on a vacation with the money, sure, you got to get something out of it. European books generally have each way markets, so it's basically just the Stanley Cup. And then you take it in half, and if they just make the Stanley Cup, you get that half. Mm-hmm. So you make 2 bets, basically. It's just combine it to one, so you can do the each way or just bet them for the conference. Just look out for sometimes the each way market will give you better because they'll be like 30-1 to win the cup. So that would mean 15-1 to win the conference, but the best price you find is like 12-1 to win the conference. So just a little tip there. You can get a little better odds that way. But yeah, that's the point. Is just don't sink your money in these dumb losing teams that'll just disappoint you, like fucking Senators and all these last couple of years.
Yeah, I've seen that now on Bet365 is available now in Pennsylvania. I'm sure they're going to more states now too. So that's something to do. I mean, for all your futures too. Like I know they have it for golf and stuff too. So you can kind of have a little bit of a safety net there.
No doubt. So what else did I look at here? You know what? I thought that there'd be a little bit more of a correlation between defensive teams and cup winners, but there isn't really. What I found is that you need to be in the top 10. Okay, first of all, the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes, like they are the anomaly of all anomalies. Like they don't make any of these categories except for like the coach's year second. But other than that, like they finished out of the top 10 simple rating system. Middling penalty special teams, both power play and penalty kill. Their goals per game was good. Okay, goal differential 10. Okay, and the cap percentage of the 4 most expensive players, 37%, which is pretty low. We'll get into that a little later. But the Carolina Hurricanes. This was right after the lockout year. That's why they were 60-1 too. They were the biggest odds since 1984 of a team to win the Stanley Cup. But nobody knew what to do with them because there's a whole year off. It was the only time that a whole season's been canceled. So that helps explain why they're so bizarre in some of these metrics, I suppose. First year of the salary cap too. So yeah, it's just a weird season.
What are you looking at? Just like raw goals for the defensive stats? Are you looking at like shots? Do they have like expected goals back that far? They don't, right?
2008 was the first one, so I don't have them for Carolina or Anaheim Cup years. But after that, they do. But I took the goals per game and I took the expected goals numbers. That's what I am working with here. But yeah, they actually had a pretty good offense there with the third goals per game, 17th goals against per game. But yeah, point is that you need to be very good in one or the other. Like I should have written this down, but I'm pretty sure that none of these teams have been outside the top 9 or 10 in both categories. So you need to have some kind of identity. You need to be a strong offense or strong defense. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks of 2013 were tremendous. First in goal differential, second goals per game, first in goals against per game. Expected goals numbers not quite as good. First in simple rating system. The power play was not good at all. It was only 19th, but third penalty kill. Penalty kill, I noticed too, is a bit more predictive. Like these teams typically have a lot better penalty kill than a power play, interestingly, which I guess makes some sense considering you need to be a bit more defensively minded. But yeah, I think it's just about identity. You want to avoid these teams that are I don't know, like 11th or 12th in both. Of course, they're going to be longer odds and all that, but still, you want to have a team with an identity, whether it's pure offense or just total shutdown. Florida Panthers were first in goals against per game last year. Great example there. Simple rating system is an excellent way of determining winners as well. The worst in the simple rating system, which is basically just taking goal differential and adjusting for a schedule of opponents faced. And the worst team were the Carolina Hurricanes at 11th in the simple rating system. So everyone else is, there was 2 teams outside of the top 9. Everyone else was in the top 9 in the simple rating system. So that's something I'm going to be looking at this year. But yeah, I'm just going over this here. I got one more category, but any more thoughts on any of that?
Well, yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers from last season to see if any of the main contenders were out of the top 10 in both expected goals per 60 and expected goals against per 60. And once again, the Rangers, they were 20th in expected goals for. They were 15th in expected goals against per 60. No, 18th, because I was sorting the other way. So yeah, they were bottom half of the league in both of those, but they made the conference final goaltending special teams. Have you seen like any teams that can just ride that to a cup, or do those teams usually end up shorter than even the final?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the goaltending. I forgot about that. That was the last bit of data entry I'm on here. The only team to have a sub 900 save percentage, guess who it was? The Carolina Hurricanes.
Of course,
2006. They were only 15th that year, though. So the goaltending in general was bad that year because there was let's see, the Bruins were no, that's not the Bruins. The Blackhawks in 2010 were 23rd, and they still had a better save percentage than the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006. But everyone else had a save percentage above 900, and most of them were again in the top 10. So yeah, save percentage is definitely important as always, but it's just one cog in the machine. One thing I didn't know this, but the Colorado Avalanche, I was expecting a much worse number, but they were 5th, tied for 5th in save percentage when they won the cup.
Real well, save percentage. I'm looking at it. It's been going back down. It peaked in 2015, 2016. I was at 915, but since then, going down every year. This past year, 903. So like people look at a goalie and they're like sub 900, and they're like, oh, he's awful, but that's getting to be league average.
Yep, shooters are getting better, game's getting faster, and yeah, a lot more smart shooting. They're learning how to beat the reverse VH or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
especially like the way
all those wide angle shots are crazy. Just banking off the helmet now too. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Fun games. Yeah. 2 more things actually. One more macro thing, I guess. The only team to win the Stanley Cup since before the Hurricanes. Really, I didn't look this up before then, but the only wild card team were the Los Angeles Kings, and of course that means no 7 seed won Stanley Cup, and only won 8 seed. So again, generally want to avoid these wild card teams. Makes sense, they're gonna be bad teams, but it's hockey, right? You keep thinking, oh, they can go on magical runs, but like I was saying before, it's always these teams with lower odds that end up winning. They'll make a fun story, like the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. That's what they were called back then. I forgot about that. It was fun reading their team name, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Oh, so stupid. But yeah, like presidents. There have only been 2 of those, so that doesn't really mean much. But yeah, you just want to avoid those bad teams. It's basically the lesson here. It's been really solidified. Finally, I looked up into the cap percentage of the 4 most expensive players per team, and I noticed that there's not a lot of high percentages. Like that the teams who devote a lot of their cap to a few players, they typically don't do well, and the team that do not have expensive players, they don't do well either. Again, those are usually bad teams because they don't have good players to pay, unless they're on like a Arizona Coyotes kind of deal where they're just serving out their retirement funds. But yeah, the early on it was kind of funky with the Anaheim Ducks and the Detroit Red Wings having crazy high percentages here. 47% of their 4 most expensive players cap allocated, and yeah, but the Red Wings team that year was absolutely a juggernaut. They were clearly the best team in the league that year, and for good reason. That was the height of the Red Wings' power. So I guess it makes sense that they're paying all these guys. And yeah, and the Ducks, I didn't really look into that one, but I guess they had Teemu Solani still getting paid a lot. Scott Niedermayer would have been paid a lot, but they also had Getzlaf and Corey Perry coming in on rookie deals. So that compensated for that, no doubt. And of course, Jaguar was one of the more higher played players as well. But other than that, it's usually in these 37 to 42-ish%. The Panthers were a bit of an outlier last year, but of course, it was the cap didn't go up. So those guys gained some allocation there, a bit more of the percentage piece of the pie. So they were pretty high there at 44%. But yeah, I think what I'm going to be looking at is in the 37 to 42-ish range, I think is ideal, because almost all these teams that won the cup have been in that range of the cap. And you know how much the Leafs have allocated to their four most expensive players?
It's like 50% or if not more, right?
53%.
Oh no. The one team I always think about when I think about like a good team built through the draft, through young players, is the 2010 Blackhawks. Like Taves was 21, Kane 21, Seabrook 24, Jalmerson 22, Bufflin 24, Corey Crawford 25. Like they had all these guys on either entry level deals or like their first RFA deal, which is like, it's hard to get in today's NHL, but like I feel like the stars might be getting there with these guys. They still have Sagan and Ben. They're paying a lot. Rupe Hintz is getting over $8 million a year. Same with Heiskanen, but like with Stankoven, with Johnston, your boy there, with Thomas Harley, he's not paid yet, but he'll be underpaid too for his skill. Like it's the key is getting those guys. It's like how I always hear about the 49ers. I'm not sure if you brought this up or heard this elsewhere. Like the 49ers are doing so well paying their guys because Brock Purdy's on a rookie deal. And like we're seeing that now with Ayuk, and other guys have to get paid. But if you can have a star player or a few star players on a cheap deal, you can kind of overpay elsewhere.
Well, of course, like there's a reason why the Blackhawks like almost immediately ceased to be contenders after the Taves and Kane got their huge deals. And there still hasn't been a player to make more than $10 million win the cup. Bobrovsky and Barkov were exactly on $10 million last year. Of course, well worth it, especially.
And there's no income tax down in Florida, so you got to factor that in.
Yep. A lot of studs there too on very cheap deals. Another thing, all these teams winning in low tax states or no tax states, as the case may be. The Stars are an interesting case. We'll get into that on another show. But McKinnon too. He was still on that $7 million deal when the Avalanche won the cup, and of course they had to blow up the team. Could no longer afford Kadri and Burakovsky after that, and have not looked the same, nor close to the same since. So, yeah, it's a money game since the salary cap era began. And the Oilers, I was expecting them to be a little bit more pricey in terms of their salary cap percentage to their four most expensive players, but I forgot the Draisaitl is still on this crazy cheap deal. It's like $8.5 million, something like that. So that really helps compensate for McDavid's high price, which of course is still underpaid for his caliber. And Darnell Nurse $9.5 million. And who's in between there? There's one more guy in the. Is it Nugent Hopkins? No, he's not paid that much. I don't know. But
Ekholm $6 million. Hyman 5.5, Kane 5 million. Like if you expanded it to like their top 6 players, like it might be a bit higher than the other ones.
Yeah, well, Draisaitl's going to get paid a Brinks truck next year, so that cap percentage is certainly gonna go up. Although they did buy out Jack Campbell, which is going to help a lot. Certainly this year. This year is very important for them because I don't think they make the right offensive moves. I don't want to make this an Oiler pod now, but. This year's crucial for the Oilers. Let's just put it that way.
The big thing that matters for the Oilers is if Stuart Skinner can keep up his strong play. If he can be a good goalie throughout the regular season playoffs, like they're set. Like that's the big question.
Yeah, no doubt. He was good enough in the playoffs to win for the most part. It's just I don't think they don't have any defense after Ekholm and Bouchard. Mm-hmm. They didn't solve that this offseason.
No, so. but bunch of plugs there. Bunch of plugs.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm done.
All right. All right. Well, we'll throw out the break here. We are brought to you by Rhythm. Football season is here, and the college football and NFL models are now live on Rhythm. Create your own winning bet model, or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. You decide what stats matter most to you, and Rhythm builds a custom model around that, or just let Rhythm and its predictive model do the heavy lifting. Rhythm uses AI predictions from MIT data scientists. Rhythm already has you covered for NFL Week 1 and college football Week 0. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And Circus Sports is back with Circus Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you'll feel if you win your office Survivor pool, but you didn't enter the Circus Survivor. Oh no! Don't have a trip booked to your Las Vegas yet before football? Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. Use promo code SGP15 to save 15% on your hotel room for sign-up weekend. Sign up in person at Circus Sports between now and September 7th, and then use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with a proxy. Go to proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. All right, I just want to bring up one thing with Stanley Cup winners as something I brought up to Joel before the show. This website, sportsoddshistory.com. Fantastic resource I just found a few hours ago when I was trying to do some manual research, but it has as you can see on the screen if you're on YouTube, as a preseason, November, December, January, All-Star break, March 1st, round 1 Stanley Cup odds for the Stanley Cup winners. And last year the Panthers were 20-1 and they entered round 1 at 7-1. But besides that, I mean, the Avalanche are an aberration here. They're 6-1 preseason, plus 325 at round 1. They were animals there, but some of these teams, don't necessarily bet the preseason favorite, because you see here in the 2010s, you have 10-1, 16-1, 12-1s. Only the Blackhawks in 2015, Lightning in 2020, and Avs in 2022 had odds less than 9-1 preseason. So you can always find a better spot to bet most of these lines. They move down. If they move down, it's a little bit. It's not like a huge number.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I bet some star stuff, but just some crazy parlays, with I don't know, Bayern Munich to win the Bundesliga, Manchester City to win the Premier League, just these big long 3 or 4 teamers. But no, I'm not putting a huge chunk of money on something that's 11-1 that cashes in July 4th or whatever it's going to be next year. It seems to get later every year. But yeah, 100-1 you could have got the Blues in the All-Star break there. I mean, they look fucking done. And I wish they were done, because I was heavy on the Bruins that year, and that was not a good day, that Game 7.
Yeah, I'm going to dig into these more for conference futures and stuff, because I'm sure there's also some good long shot numbers there. We just wanted to bring that up. Hopefully we can use that more on a future show. We do have a player award that
that's a good point you bring up, because looking at these, none of them going down. Even the Avalanche, the supposed anomaly, they went from 6-1 to 4-1, and you saved yourself half a year with that money in hand. So you make a good point there. It's not really worth it to dunk a lot of money on this stuff early on, unless you're making these $20 14 parlays of 2001 or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, even last year, Panthers were 20-1 preseason, still 15-1 on January 1st. I feel like by that point we were on board with the Panthers potentially being cup contenders, because if you're following along with the season, you should be able to get pretty good numbers.
Yeah, Panthers. We are against the Panthers, believe it or not, before the season, because I was thinking that they would fall apart after they were super damaged. Their defensemen were all out. Kachuk was banged up. He was playing with one leg in the Stanley Cup Finals, but they came out like gangbusters and they were surviving without him. Oliver Ekman-Larsson turned into Arizona Coyote. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. The price didn't change, so we quickly changed course, and thankfully we did, because it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about more Stanley Cup as the offseason moves along, as we get into team previews. But there are some player awards out since we recorded our player award show. specifically the Selke Trophy. Here are the Selke Trophy odds via DraftKings. You got Barkov, the favorite, plus 130. Matthews right there, 750. Rupe Hintz. Then my guy, Nico Hischier, 12-1. That's my favorite bet right now. Hischier, 12-1. But also some long shots. Joel, what's the longest shot you like here?
I've made exactly one bet in this market, and that's only because the book that I have access to populated this a few days after when the aforementioned Archer brought it up, and that was when Nico Hischier was 30-1. I would have been all over that, but 12-1 is still, yeah, you're right, is still the best bet of these picks. Elias Lindholm was a little bit interesting there, 35-1 on a team that I'm really high on in the Boston Bruins once again. If he can recreate what he did with Huberdeau and Kachuk, now that he has some proper wingers in David Pastrnak, if he plays up there, and Brad Marchand, if he plays on that line, that's going to be a point city for him, and he'll get, of course, he's one of the best defensive centers in the league. So I love Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, I got some Lindholm there. He finished second in voting in 2022 behind, who won that? I'm assuming Bergeron. Yeah, Bergeron won. Lindholm, not too far behind, second place finish.
There you go. And he's in Boston now. So they already know that the Selke comes from Boston.
That's the tough thing with the Selke. It's like, even with the Hart, it's like such a select group of players that can win it. But even with the Selke, like, because it's a defensive two-way award, like, you can't just look at the points. Like, not enough people watch all the games. Like, it's these guys that are known for this. So it's very, very rare for someone to come out of the blue.
No doubt. The only bet I made, that wasn't the bet I made. I might make that bet at some point. But the only bet I made was JT Miller, my guy, 100-1. I don't know why Elias Pettersson is 30-1 when JT Miller is 100-1. JT Miller is the better two-way player. He is much better last year. He is the better player at this point, even though Pettersson's getting paid more than him now. Yeah, he's going to have points again. He's going to be playing some good players. Vancouver Canucks, he's in a Tocchet system, very defensively minded. So that is my favorite bet, the only bet that I've made in the Selke so far, because I do think that Barkov is just going to win again. So I'm not going too heavy in here, but I am glad that more books are offering this, because it is one more market to attack, and awards are generally more lucrative than not.
Yeah, Barkov means the rightful favorite. I did throw like $1 on all these just to have them in my bet history. I got Bo Horvat at 75-1. That's probably a bet I'm going to regret, but defensive system in New York, his best finish has been 22nd in Selke voting, so probably not good there. Took a homer bet, Sean Couturier at 100-1. If he's healthy, playing with Michkov, he's won it before. Yeah, he's a name, 100-1 there. O'Reilly also 100-1.
Yep.
Not sure what kind of line mates he's going to have now with Marchessault and Stamkos there, so he could get back to it. Philip Deneau, I didn't take him, but see him at 100-1. It always seemed like he'd be someone that could win a Selke, so I don't hate that. It does always seem like.
Sorry, go ahead.
It does always seem like it's a center, because like you think about like Mark Stone is like 75-1, but it does seem like it's always a center that wins it.
Yeah, of course. I always bring this up, but Nathan McKinnon, when asked who's the hardest player he plays against, it's Philip Deneau. So that's another point in his favor.
Yeah. Also, I got Cirelli kind of in that vein at 75-1. He's someone who's seen poised to win a Selke down there in Tampa. Maybe he takes a bigger role now with Stamkos gone, but I mean, they have Gensel there to replace him. So we'll see what happens there. But 75-1 just seems a bit long for someone who he's a name. He's out there, known as a two-way guy. Could get some votes.
I think the Lightning need to fix their defense. Their defense is just too bad, and the goaltending is not quite as good as it used to be.
I saw in the group chat Archer throwing out the aforementioned Archer throwing out a Hedman for Norris, which seemed kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I can't back that one. He's had some good picks. That's not one of them.
Yeah, that's all really I had my eye on for Selke. But yeah, Barkov's a favorite. Yeah,
one last note.
Good.
Oh, what about Pettersson? Go. I want to hear
Pettersson 30-1. He did. I was looking at him before. He finished 7th in Selke 2 years ago when he had 102 points. Like maybe there's some name recognition there now, especially if he has a bounce back year. That's not good enough for the Hart. Maybe they do throw him the Selke, but I don't like it at 30-1.
No, I mean he's got to be at least equal with JT.
Yeah.
One last note on this to combine the two things we've talked about. Mentioned this before, but there's a strong correlation between Selke winners and Cup winners. We talk about all these glorious guys who win the heart, the fancy fucks. They're not often or not always Cup winners. In fact, Selke winners are more often Cup winners. We talked about in the past 20 years or so. There's only been 2 players who won the Selke who haven't won the Cup. One of them is Sean Couturier, and he's been dealing with injuries and just on a bad team. Sorry, Ryan. And the other is Ryan Kessler, who came within 1 game of winning the Cup. So, yeah, it's strongly correlated, and that's why I like. I'm kind of mixed bag, I love my Devils and all that. There's some things that they don't really. There's not a lot of going for them, but in other ways there is. Like Nico Hischier, like he was second place voting a couple times for the Selke, pretty sure.
Yeah, right behind Bergeron 2 years ago.
Yeah,
he was hurt last year. He probably would have been up there again.
No doubt. So, yeah. So, Nico Hischier as a potential Selke winner, Cup winner makes a lot of sense to me. But, yeah, Rupe Hintz, of course, too, with the Stars. So, yeah, we could easily see one of these guys, another Cup winner, or it's just Barkov and the Panthers again. Or it's Austin Matthews and the Leafs.
Well, what are your thoughts on Matthews being 750 and Marner being 30 to 1?
Well, I don't want to. No,
you don't want to disparage the Leafs too much on this show.
Yeah, I guess. No, that's fine. No, I last year I said the Austin Matthews should have been favored over Marner. Now that's happened. I just don't want to tout myself, I guess. But no, he shouldn't be plus 750 though. He's ultimately seen as a goal scorer. He was a finalist last year, of course. That's why he's plus 750, and he does a tremendous amount of work defensively. I think he led forwards and blocked shots last year too. So. No doubt, credit to him. Great face-off man as well. So you could see the case there. It's just the connection between the Leafs winning the Cup. That's my point. That's where if Austin Matthews wins the Selke, then forget about everything I said about the correlation.
Yeah, we have a question here from Parker, the underbetter. Who is Noah Cates on that list? Joel, do you know who Noah Cates is?
That's a Flyer, isn't it?
That's a Flyer. It's Flyers' third line center right there. You got some Selke votes last year. Also, Flyer on the list. Tyson Forster right there, 75 to 1. But my Flyer bet would be Couturier at 100 to 1. He's one of 9 people to win the Selke Trophy in the salary cap era,
and he's the captain now.
Insane, yeah, he's captain now. Hopefully healthy, has potentially his best winner in his career if Michkov can reach that ceiling. So yeah, that's a definite play there for me at 100 to 1.
I like it.
Also the Art Ross is out. I was looking McDavid minus 150, McKinnon 3 to 1, Kucherov 6 to 1, Draisaitl 10, Pasta 12. The one guy I kind of liked was Panarin at 40 to 1. He's been fairly consistently in the top 5 over the past few years. Maybe he gets a bump this year with the Freniere with him. So yeah, he finished 4th last year, but 24 points behind Kucherov, 20 behind McKinnon, 12 behind McDavid. Like, it's going to be one of those top guys.
I think it's just you're just getting lucky. If it's anyone but McDavid who wins, you got lucky. I don't know how else you could cap this really, because I do think that McDavid should be a lot bigger favorite than minus 150. The true price should be like minus 300 because I'm thinking that he's going to win the Hart as well. So that's what I'm betting. Added to my parlays, but if you want something juicier, a little bit more safer, I think that you just take McDavid there minus 150, add him to I don't know. Let's see. Yannick Sinner to win the Australian Open. I don't know. Whatever you're into, something that happens in the distant future. You just add McDavid to win the Art Ross to that. I guess it would make more sense if you like basketball, NBA. If you have some NBA features you like, then throw McDavid in there with I don't know, Wemby to win Defensive Player of the Year, minus 400, whatever the fuck he is now.
When does Bundesliga finish? Doesn't the Bundesliga kind of run with hockey?
Yeah. Seasons end in May, so pretty close.
There you go.
Yeah.
Art Ross. I was going to say maybe Kucherov at 6 to 1, but I don't think he's going back-to-back years. It's just McDavid. But speaking of parlaying with tennis, parlaying with Alcaraz did not do too well at the Olympics for me.
No. Sadly, Carlitos failed us. That hurt. That really hurt. That Sunday. Oh my word, man! Because we're gonna do. Was that
the golf Sunday too?
Yeah, it all happened at once.
Oh no.
Everything was grand. I had a little bit of money on Rom, but not a lot. But the main thing was getting this Spain over 4.5 gold medals home, which has been the fucking funnest sweat you'll ever have. Like you're just sweating all these random things. Oh, is this Spanish guy any good? Oh, he's going up. Oh no, it's a fucking silver medal. Oh, he sucks. He's gonna be plus 1,200 in the final. It doesn't matter if he wins the semifinal. So all these random things you're just learning on the fly. Like, does this guy have a chance just to get 5 fucking gold medals for the Spanish? Thankfully, we're right back in it because now. The Spanish soccer team won today the gold medal. Hell of a game against France. One of the best football matches you'll ever see. And then the triple jump came through as well. That was grand. But yeah, go back to Sunday when Sean Rahm minus 1,000. He had 4-stroke lead halfway through the round, and he chokes it away. Scotty Scheffler comes out of nowhere, of course, and just he finally gets his putter going, takes him down. Rahm bails. He's crying at the end. Let my country, Spain, down. Let all the Spanish gold bettors bat down too. So fuck you, John Rahm. And then Carlos Alcaraz going to war against my guy Novak Djokovic, and goes off minus 250. We had him a 2-1. Like I said, we had him at the parlayed with the Lions to win the NFC. Those went down in flames because Djokovic played the best round or the best match of tennis he's played in like 2 years, seems like. He was absolutely on fire. He really wanted that gold medal. He had fucking knee surgery like less than 2 months ago, and he came out with that. It was frustrating as hell at the moment because I lost my bets, but thinking on it now, especially if we get this last gold medal for Spain tomorrow in the women's water polo, we're minus 250. We can do it, girls. That'll forgive Alcaraz and Rahm a little bit more, but right now, I'm already just feeling so good for Djokovic to get that. They call it a golden slam, or you win all the majors, and then he finally gets his Olympic gold at age 37 because he wasn't gonna have another chance. And I've never seen him that happy, honestly, since I've been watching tennis. Like, he was just absolutely ecstatic. That meant more to him than fucking French Open last year or the Australian Open, whatever. Like, this guy absolutely loved it. So I felt great for him. Love Novak, and lost the bets, but. Whatever, we can get over the money. I can always look back at that moment and hell of a fucking round. Like, he's definitely passing the torch now. I don't think that he would ever play like that again against Alcaraz. Alcaraz is going to be the best for a while. Him and Sinner, I guess. But that's a hell of a way to go out. So cheers to Novak Djokovic. Yeah, son of a bitch.
Yeah, in the golf, it was Fleetwood for me. I bet Fleetwood with a boost before it started, and it was I had a cash out opportunity for a decent amount. After cutting into Sunday, I was like, no, he's got it. No, of course, you can never count out Scotty. I counted out Scotty, and then it screwed me.
The market did too. He was up to like 50-1 at one point. He never made a putt, but then all of a sudden he just keeps hitting those irons, and eventually just starts making putts, and then that's when he knows he's gonna kill it. But I was cheering for Fleetwood too at the end when Rahm wasn't gonna win, because we knew we also have over 15.5, over 16.5. Great Britain gold medals, and Fleetwood, of course, is an Englishman, but did not come through. I don't think we're going to win those bets because the British keep fucking getting silver medals, so that's frustrating. But overall, awesome tournament. The best moment, though, oh man, I mentioned his name a few times before, but Leon Marchand, Vive le Roi, the new Michael Phelps, the French Phelps. I had so much money on him to win the 200 IM, like more than any hockey game I ever had this whole season, like more than the fucking Oilers against the Sharks I had on this one race. I've got him now partly with a 5.
What were his odds?
Well, they kept dropping. I could look at it now. I couldn't read them all out, but they were like 250, then 2-1, plus 150, even money. Then he just kept winning these other races, so I kept adding more on this race. He went off at like minus 300, and I was still betting that. Wow. and it was this easiest sweat because he just fucking dominated. I was shouting like all 10 French words I know, just jumping up and down in my room for like 2 minutes that this was going on. Like, it's absolutely ecstatic just having that amount of money on like something lasts for 2 minutes. It's exhilarating, and definitely the moment of Olympics for me. So Vive le Roi, hail Leon Marchand.
Yeah, I mean that's some CLV right there. I've been listening to some of those Circles Off podcasts you recommended for Smitty in the group chat. And
good.
To the CLV one. So hopefully I'll be a more informed better for this season 4 of the Hockey Gallon podcast.
For sure. Great podcast. I highly recommend it to anyone out there. It's mostly educational. They do some dumb shit there too. But the interviews with smart people are the best ones, I think. One last note on the Olympics. I mentioned her before too. Summer McIntosh, she came through as well. Canadian legend. She is incredible. 3 gold medals there. So good for her, good for Canada. And one more thing on Leon. He, for the first time ever in a male's swimming, he won 2 gold medals in the same day, 2 races. It's unheard of. Nobody's ever done that before. So this guy's incredible. I love him.
It's crazy that these events are like, some are like back to back or like the same day. Like the rugby, it was like semifinal was like in the morning over here, and then like the afternoon the final was. It was insane.
During the victory ceremony after the first one, they brought the medals, and they usually take photographs and all that. So no, he's like, "Peace out, I got to go prepare for the next race." I've never seen that before.
It's very compact. I mean, they're the best in the world for a reason. So it's good for them.
Yes.
Okay, here I'm almost an hour for an off-season podcast. Joel, anything else here you want to touch on before we close it out?
No, I think we're all caught up, unless you want to hear CFL bad beats or good beats or whatever. But no, I think we made up for the last 2.5 weeks off.
Yeah, only CFL. So I follow a bunch of like Canadian media guys for hockey, and like sometimes I see them tweeting about CFL, and that's like the most CFL exposure I get.
Oh, you missed a good one yesterday. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure I did. All right. We haven't done any promotion here. Make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Same thing on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, we're definitely doing a lot of this show, especially. We have a lot of screen sharing with odds and whatnot going on. So make sure you check that out and subscribe there. Also, it's just good for the show. Tell a friend, helps us grow as we go into season 4 here. You got any team previews getting ready for these coming weeks?
Yeah, I guess we're going to do the same plan as last year, 2 per episode. So I guess I got to get started on this pretty soon. I'll do them alphabetically or by division this year, because last year I did it alphabetically, so I had to
No, I think it was by division last year. Oh, you did it alphabetically.
Yeah, I did alphabetically, so I had to scramble to get a few in on time. But I'll do it by division this year, so we're on pace with the show.
Yeah, we'll start that. I mean, it's almost already mid-August, so mid to late August. We got training camp starting less than a month. We got preseason. I think it's less than 2 months now to the first game of the season. So coming up fast. So hopefully we can get there pretty soon. That's going to do it. Make sure you're following on Twitter at HockeySGPN. And I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at RGilbertSOP.
I'm Joel Meyer, and you'll find me welcoming Valentina Renee Meyer to the world. My brother and his wife had a kid last night. So
congratulations. Congrats.
Yes, sir. I'm an uncle once again. So the Meyer clan grows. The Meyer clan grows.
Throw it back to the podcast from your lake house. Uncle Joel.
Yeah, there we go. The first daughter, all nephews so far.
First niece.
First niece, yeah.
Good. That's good.
Let's go.
All right. See ya.